Hello guys, welcome to Edinburgh Zoo. My name is Blair, I'm one of the education officers, and today we are visiting our rainbow lorikeets. So let's head into the enclosure and see some animals who are desperate for some attention, I think you'll find. So, our beautiful rainbow lorikeets are native to Australia. I'm going to give you a little close-up of them. They are an absolutely wonderful little species. So here we have our beautiful rainbow lorikeets. Now, they are known for getting quite loud, so if they do get loud, I might have to walk away from them for a little bit, but they are being surprisingly well behaved right now. Now, native to Australia, as I say, what we'll find is that you'll find them living in the forests of Australia. Rainbow by name, but also rainbow by nature. You can see that with our coloration. Now we're also joined today by Sean. Sean's going to give you a bit of a wave. There we go. You might recognise him if you watched Inside the Zoo. He's such a celebrity right now. And here is that beautiful, distinctive, are we going to call it a call?
Noise is sufficient.
Noise, yeah. Call and song seem to be too complimentary. They are shrill, let's face it. But these animals, they are getting their feed just now. That's why they're so excited. Sean, what is it that they are getting fed just now?
Just now they're getting some nectar at the moment, so I've got a wee bit more. I'll bring out a little bit as well, which is a really high sugar, high protein water, or powder mixed in with the water. And in the morning they'll get their fruits and vegetables as well, as the nectar is given to them 3 times a day. And they'll get fruits and vegetables spiked around the enclosure right up high as well, which allows them to sort of forage in a more natural way, almost as in fruits at the treetops and things as well. And they will also get some sprouted seeds as well, so they get a real variety of seeds. But nectar, as you can see, is certainly one of their favourites.
Perfect. As you can see, they are quite social birds, as we see from Sean having one adorned on his head already. Now, they are fantastically mobile, so they are found in the forest, so you'll see they've got quite short wings. Those short wings are great for moving between the branches and the thick foliage of the rainforest. You'll also see they've got a fantastically long tail though, which helps them to steer and to put the brakes on if they need to slow down quickly. If you look at their gorgeous little feet, they have what we call zygodactyl feet, so they've got 2 toes that go forward and 2 toes that go backwards. He says, knowing that you're getting drowned out by our gorgeous birds. Now, those little feet give them a fantastic grip, which allows them to hang upside down from the smallest of branches to access the hardest to reach foods. I'm going to go in for another close-up, guys, so you can see them. Absolutely beautiful animals. But as I say, they do like to make a wee noise. Now, I'll remind you, if you like, you can always send us some of the questions you might have burning you just now. By all means, do send them in to us. We are going to be here live for the next wee while at our lorikeets. So if you do have any questions, do just let myself and Sean, our keeper, know. You can see you've joined us on a fairly snowy day here at Edinburgh Zoo. We do have a wee bit of snow on the ground. Now, Sean, how many lorikeets do we currently have here at Edinburgh Zoo?
There are 28 in this enclosure, and a mixture of ages from just a couple of months old, actually, maybe four months old, I think is the youngest. 3 that we have, and some of them are the older ones, I think maybe between 10 and 12. So yeah, a range of ages from them.
Fantastic. And in this enclosure, it's quite a large enclosure we've got here for them here in Edinburgh Zoo. It is closed off just now for a few different reasons actually. Of course, the entire zoo right now is closed because of the current pandemic. And can I just say just now, whilst I'm here, a massive thank you for you guys joining us here for this live today, but also for supporting us here at Edinburgh Zoo or the Highland Valley Park our charity, RZSS. Every bit of support does help make the difference to help feed our animals, keep them warm, keep them happy, keep them healthy. Now our keeper Sean has actually just gone in to go and refill their food bowls, because you can see they are completely empty now. And we'll see that Sean's coming back in with a nice jug of nectar to get them all excited again. Now, Sean, when it comes to them drinking, how is it that they drink? Do they use their beaks, or is it their tongue, or?
Yeah, it's difficult to see when they're going so fast, but if you look closely, you can see it in the clear dish that the tongue. In fact, you might be able to see it quite nicely here. The tongue comes out, and it's a real brush-like tongue, and actually you can see it making marks on the jug, just clearing away the nectar. So yeah, that's those brush-like adaptations to the tongue really help take on the nectar, wildflower stuff as well. So they're very active in it this way, and they're actually displaying that quite nicely at the side. It'd be a good slow motion one, so you can really get a good view, but unfortunately you have to look to see how quick they move their tongue to get everything up.
Fantastic. So apologies if I wasn't quite getting there in terms of the images. I had 4 lorikeets sat in my hand weighing it down. There we go. So they've got this fantastic tongue they use to feed. We can nicely see that our lorikeets are getting quite excited now. I have one currently just grooming my hair, and we have one right on my hand. So now I'm just seeing if we have any questions coming in. Do feel free. I'll try and see them on the chat as I can. I'll try and relay the answers to you as much as I can as well. But as you can hear, our excited little lorikeets do make quite a noise. Now, our lorikeets aren't the most endangered animal here at Edinburgh Zoo, but they are incredibly popular with our visitors. I know lots of you will have enjoyed seeing them before here at our lorikeet enclosure, and some of you may have even been lucky enough to feed them in the past. If you have fed them in the past, it is a wonderful experience. Do stick on a like right now to show that you fed them in the past. I always like to see how many folk have been feeding our lorikeets. But as I say, not the most endangered species, but they do a fantastic job of engaging the public in their habitat of the rainforest of Australia. If you actually look at the indoor enclosure next door, many of you will be familiar that in through this doorway is our brilliant birds aviary, and in there we'll find far more endangered species, such as our critically endangered swift parrots who bred last year. You can find the extinct in the wild Socorro dove in that enclosure also. So fantastic parts of the breeding programme that we've been engaging in here at Edinburgh Zoo about breeding the next generation of some incredibly endangered species. And you can see Sean getting a little love back for all of his efforts there. Not that there's too much on the top of his head to groom there. He's getting a very thorough grooming. Now, within this enclosure, what you'll also see is that we're able to change it up quite regularly for our lorikeets to make things more entertaining for them. So you'll actually see a little vacant bracket up here, and some similar brackets positioned above us over here. Now, these brackets have been designed to hold branches, so on a weekly basis, our enclosure can completely transform for our lorikeets. So whilst the outside perimeter is always the same, we can change the built-up vegetation in this enclosure regularly, so that on a regular basis, that we can change our branching. And actually that's really important, because actually a lot of the feeding doesn't just take place in these pots on the side. Sean, you'll probably be able to tell us what sort of feeding you usually do with our lorikeets.
Yeah, I mean, if you see, so that we can mimic some of the natural foraging techniques, we've got really tall bamboo spikes that we bring down every day. We'll put large chunks of fruits and vegetables on, and we'll raise it up to the height of the high parts of the enclosure, and amongst all the foliage and things as well, and that allows the birds to feed them from almost whole fruits as well. So they get to kind of work every muscle, and as well as get the birds thinking about how to feed more as well, and not just drinking from a food dish, but really how to access and how to gain access to these larger fruits and vegetables. So at various different heights. So yeah, it certainly keeps them active and holds that, you know, even having their feet constantly working those muscles, holding different sized branches at height, as well as actually their jaw muscle, the face muscle things as well, really accessing the fruits and vegetables. So a full range of exercise to get the food as well, which is quite good.
Excellent. Now, we will notice actually just on the screen there are a couple of our lorikeets who have just a bit of damage to their feathers. Sean, could you explain just what we're seeing there?
To be honest, with this pair, this is a breeding pair, and they have been this way since they came in. They've never really gotten any better with that. We're not sure the cause of it. They've not gotten any better or any worse, so I don't know if there's been some sort of damage that they just plucked themselves. But yeah, it's unfortunate. We're just not really sure the cause of that. And they've bred very well, and all the youngsters that they've produced have no feather issues in that way. So it's a strange one. I can't.
Well, we see a little bit more grooming between some of the pairs just as they're eating there on that food dish. I'm going to go in for another closer look. I do know it's going to get loud for you guys again, but you'll see a little bit more of this feeding behaviour. And again, look at those tiny little feet of theirs, those zygodactyl grips, which allow them to hold on so securely to their perches. Now, you'll see a couple of our lorikeets have raided the jug, which is now empty, and you'll actually see this tongue doing exactly what Sean was describing, brushing over the surface and licking it clean. Excellent. So 28 of these rainbow lorikeets in total. They're from Australia, as we know, and they're absolutely gorgeous and incredibly friendly, having had myself and Sean both been personally groomed today. Now, I'm looking out on the chat. If you do stick any questions in, do just let us know. We'd be absolutely wonderfully pleased to get back to you with some answers to your questions, as we continue just to have our lorikeets finishing off their food for the day. Again, whilst I'm here, a massive thank you for all of you tuning in today and engaging with us here at Edinburgh Zoo and with the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland. It makes the world of difference to us. Thank you for those guys who have supported us already, either by visiting us in the past, if you intend on visiting in the future, or of course by doing all of your fundraising at home as well. We've had some amazing people doing incredible fundraising and donations towards us. I've even seen a couple of donations coming in already during this session as well, which makes the world of difference. Keeps our animals, as I say, keeps them warm, keeps them fed, and keeps them alive. And that's what our zoo, of course, is all about. It's all about conservation, not just keeping our animals alive in the zoo, but keeping, through conservation, these species thriving globally around the world in their natural habitats too. So thank you so much for supporting all that conservation work that RZSS gets on behind the scenes with. Now, Sean, obviously the name of the rainbow lorikeet is Rainbow. They are fantastically colourful. What's the reasoning behind this? What are the current theories?
To be honest, with many parrots, they are massively colourful, and you know, some species you have a male-female difference, even if it's not necessarily massively visible to us. These birds can see a different light spectrum, it can be more obvious to them. But to be honest, I think it's parrots in general. They're massively colourful, and there's not always a reason for it. When you, as you can see, males and females are more or less the same, and I don't think there's any major difference to say within that ultraviolet light spectrum that would be more attractive to the opposite sex. It's a difficult one, and I think the main reason is that the parrots are a colourful family, and it may actually help them if they are primarily green. It may help them in that forest environment that it breaks up the camouflage almost. The coloration kind of breaks everything up a little bit, because they may well be surprisingly difficult to see in a forest, which at the moment sounds very strange, but when I'm trying to get a count of them in summer, when we've got all the leaves in full bloom and things, are actually quite difficult. So you can imagine that it may well help with general camouflage as well.
Fantastic. So I'm going to go in again for a closer look. We can see actually when they're feeding, it is predominantly green that you're seeing, which you can imagine is fantastic camouflage. But they do have those options of potentially showing off. Oh, just had a hit of a lorikeet into my phone there. We do have the potential that they are able to show off, and actually not just in terms of their physical coloration, but they're known to show off with their behaviours, aren't they, Sean?
Yeah, that's right. There's a lot of displays from the males towards the females. They tend to do a lot more. Not so much now in winter, but in the next couple of months we'll see a lot more displays and grooming, as you can see from this one just here. But yeah, they kind of dance around, do a lot of bobbing around on branches and courtship feeding and things as well. So you see a lot more when the weather warms up, really.
Fantastic. Well, speaking of warming up and wrapping up warm, we're just about ready to wrap up here at Edinburgh Zoo. It is, as I say, just about starting to snow again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys join us here at Edinburgh Zoo with our lorikeets. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your week. But as I say, thank you so much for your support that you've shown in the past. If you hopefully support us again in the future, come back and visit us. We are dying to have you guys come back and enjoy all these animals in the flesh yourselves. But until then, thank you for your donations. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for your fundraising. Thank you so much. How many times can I say thank you? Quite a few. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest, and thank you for joining us. All the best.